Be in the house of the Lord. My daughter Bethany's going to bed last night. She says, I'm really excited about going to church tomorrow. And because we had the Christmas Eve service so close to Sunday, we decided Sam Arm and Sigamoose would take that Sunday off. And I got to tell you, it was nice having a weekend off. I haven't had one of those off since August. It was beautiful. It was kind of swell. Of course, some of you are mad at me for canceling the church, but get over it. We need to pray before we look at Psalm 1. Let's pray together. We come before you, great and glorious Lord. We have 10,000 reasons and many more to love you back, to thank you for the good gifts like those children who ran down the hallway, for freedom for this school, for this church, for the community that we love, for giving us answers to prayer like godly men for our daughters. God, for the gift of your word that so aptly fits the day that we're living in. It is an endless prism of your glory to look at your word and never, ever get bored of it, because it is the truth and it is the life. But Lord, we pray that as you open this word this morning, that, Lord, you would do that in power, and you would take us as a church and take us to new levels this year, individually, corporately. We pray for your word to give us life, because it's from your Spirit, and without your Spirit we are lifeless, and we don't want to be that. So open the well of life, Lord, this morning, and minister to all our hearts, Jesus. It's in your holy and precious name. Amen. We always pick a resolution of some kind because it's tradition. Some people are like, nah, I'll never do it anyway. The only New Year's resolution I've ever kept in my life was 2014, when I said no French fries. It's my favorite food, so that was a big deal. But then again, it's only one form of potatoes. So I just, I had baked potatoes instead. But I was proud of myself for not having fries, because, as far as forms of potatoes go, it's one of the least healthy ones. So I had a lot more salad at staff meetings when all the guys would go to McDonald's. And I'd get the side salad, and they were eating fries. My daughters would go, hey, Dad, doesn't it look beautiful? But I did it because this girl, my youth group, Prince George, Amy, she was a sponsor. She did a year with no fries and no chocolate. And I'm like, if she can do that, I can do one of them, and it won't be chocolate, because that's harder to get when you're going over to someone's house, they offer you cake. No. Right? So, but I don't know what your New Year's resolutions are. How many people, show of hands, make them? Really? Dina's got the bold. So, wow, you guys are, I like you. You're relaxed church cool, makes them. There you go. Okay. Well, hey, have a good year. It's going to be easy. It's like saying, I'm giving up stabbing people for the year 2016. It's not going to be that hard, right? But I was thinking, what do I want my New Year's resolution to be this year? And I got up January 1st, because I had to get up early because Johnny and Kim decided that their Christmas present was going to go to the Canucks game, so we had to get up early. I had to make them coffee. So I didn't get sleep in January 1st, but my body didn't usually let me do that anyway. But I got up, and it was nice because I had some time with Jesus over coffee, and I was thinking about, what I want 2016 to be. And I thought to myself, you know what? It's been a long time since you've gone through the Psalms, personally. I just went through some New Testament books, and I thought, let's go through the Psalms. So I opened up Psalm 1, and that's what John read this morning. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the seat of mockers, the company of mockers. Now, when you hear the word blessed, this title of this sermon is How to Be Happy, Fortunate, Prosperous, and Enviable in 2016. It's a bit of a handle, right? But that's what the word blessed means in the Hebrew. We hear the word blessed and we're like, oh, I'm so blessed that I got to go see the new Star Wars movie with the youth group. That's not blessed. That's just fun, right? But when the Hebrew writer writes, blessed is the person who doesn't walk in step with sinners, but walks with God, what it means is happy, fortunate, prosperous, and enviable is that person. So this is literally a sermon on how you can be happy, fortunate, prosperous, and enviable in 2016. And that's what that word blessed means. Now the first thing is, bless people what they don't do, okay? Now the first thing they don't do is, they don't walk and live in the counsel of ungodly people. Proverbs says bad company corrupts good character. So if you're not strong enough to be in bad company, you might need to take some time away from the bad company to get strong. And then later on, if you become mature, become like Jesus, you can go hang out with some bad company for a time and influence them. But if they influence you, which a lot of times if you spend time with people that have no love for God, and I'm not saying don't, I'm saying do, but make sure that you're the one influencing them. Because what happens is friends rub off on each other, right? And a lot of times kids have told me they graduate from high school and they move away, they come back to Sicamous, and they realize that the people in high school that they thought were their really good friends weren't their friends, they were just their partying friends. And they come back and they go, they never contacted me once, I'm not going to contact them if I'm having a bad day. They just were bringing me down and I was going along with it. And the person who doesn't follow advice of the world, this Bible says, is the person who doesn't stand around wasting their life going down a dead-end path. The message puts it this way: blessed are the people who don't hang out in sin saloon and go down dead-end road. I like that. They don't sit around in sin saloon and hang and go down dead-end road. They decided they're going to take a different path. And I thought that was really good. So that's how not to be happy, is to go and wreck your life. My buddy Scott was a church planner, and he had a sermon series called How to Wreck Your Life. Real good, eh? It was like 6 Sundays on how to wreck your life. But the thing is that really what Psalm 1 says is the way not to be happy is to do things that won't make your soul happy. Because our soul is really who we are. And temporarily you can get happy off the stuff of the world. You can get drunk, for, let's say, and it gives you that temporary high. The next day you're like, why did I do that? I get such a killer headache, right? And the thing is, that's a sample of what the world does to give you a temporary high, and then later it's done. I saw a guy on Facebook say, it's so sad when you binge watch a series on Netflix and then it's done and then you're depressed. Because what it is this constant like, oh, what's going to happen next? It's like when we first rented the show 24, when we rent a whole DVD set back 15 years ago or whatever. Senator are like, well, you know what? It's only 12 at night. They're only 41 minutes, no commercials. Let's watch another one, because they were always a cliffhanger, right? And then the next morning, I was like, why did I stay up and watch another episode of 24? Right? It was like, I'm so tired. Yeah, you moron. You stay up till 2 in the morning watching a TV show. Right? And the thing is, it's a temporary fix, right? It's like when I went and saw the movie Creed in November, because I'm a big Rocky fan. He's in the show. He's training in Adonis Creed. It's that big Rocky rush, and I'm feeling on top of the world for a day and a half. No, half a day. It's like, I'm still just wobbly. Because it was an emotional high. And there's actually people that go to Christian conferences as a habit, but they don't have any time with Jesus between Sundays and don't have time with Jesus regularly in His Word between conferences, and they need their next fix because it's an emotional high. And then they come down into the real world. And we all live in the real world. Just so you know, just because I'm a pastor doesn't mean that it's any easier for me to get time with God than you. The temptation for me is to get up and hit the ground running every day. C.S. Lewis said, when you wake up in the morning, the hardest thing in the world to do is to put aside your thoughts, because they will come rushing at you like wild animals first thing in the morning. Everything you got to do, he says, you got to learn to set those aside and spend a little bit of time thinking about God, getting some of His truth into you, listening to some of His music, doing something to get your brain fixed on something other than what your day is going to entail, because you all have busy days and I'll have busy days too, and it's easy for me to set aside the Word of God. And so this is how to be blessed, how to be happy, fortunate, enviable, successful, and prosperous. This is how to do it now. We don't know how not to. It's going with the world. How to is to make God your focus from dawn to dusk. And it's a habit. It's not something you're going to do easily. And how do you make God your focus? Well, the first thing is remember the first commandment of the 10 Commandments. Have no other gods before me. that so we can be happy in Him. So, Tim Keller says, that means the first thing in your day is got to be having God before anything else. Even if it's that 5-minute daily bread fix. Even if it's making sure you got a worship CD in on the car instead of just Easy Rock. But resetting your brain to make God your focus instead of living a life and just going 110 kilometers an hour and not getting anywhere because you're not on God's path. You're on your own. Right? And I can tell you the times when I start my day with the Lord, it's not like sprinkling devotion dust on my day and nothing goes wrong. But man, I handle what goes wrong a lot better. Right? I got a flat tire here on the way to a PAC meeting, and the principal says, I thought you were protected from that stuff. And I said, nope. He just helps me with it when I get it flat and I'm late. So he says, make God your focus. Feed on His Word. It's God fuel, right? We live in a world that lives on everything else. We talked about it. Some people live on Netflix. Everybody's got a religion. Everybody's got a religion. And it's usually what you're passionate and you love the most. So with me, I got to watch how much TV I watch. Because I'm a big TV movie guy, right? And if I'm not careful, I could make the excitement about the next Star Wars movie my biggest thing, because that's the geek, right? Some guys' religion is sledding. Some women's religion is shopping. Some people, their religion is curling or gossip. And it's the religion because they got to get to Timmy's talk about the next thing. Or it could be football, the religion of America, or hockey, the religion of Canada. Nothing's wrong with any of the stuff that I mentioned, right? Unless it's your focus, right? Rick Warren gave me some good advice once at a pastor's conference. He said, spend an hour in the morning with the Lord and an hour relaxing at night. So I thought, that's good. I set my day with Jesus. I watch an hour of TV, get my mind detached from the Lord, and then how about talking to Him a little before I go to sleep so I have better dreams and I'm more relaxed, right? I don't check my email after a certain time now because my adrenaline gets going about work or my text messages. Some of you might text me, somebody texted me this morning, they got the automatic reply, Bob is busy and may not respond right away, because I needed to detach from work because my job as a pastor can replace my God. Because I could be a workaholic really easily. And so you got to figure out what is your religion in life and make sure it's Jesus. Because then you're going to be a person who's got some fuel in you because it's God fuel. We're talking about for 2016. Cars aren't made to run on Coca-Cola or coffee. Right? I've said this a million times. Human beings are meant to run on God like cars are meant to run on gas. So if we don't got God in the tank, there's no go. It's just we're living on adrenaline and on stimulants and on go, 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 or whatever it is, right? George Eady is a great guy. He's the new pastor in Revelstoke. The first sermon I heard of Jordan, he said this. He was talking about no plan B. God's got to be His plan A. There's no plan B. And he said, for him, it was his photography obsession, where you need to have the latest and greatest in the camera lenses and everything else, according to the sermon this morning. And it was the Canucks. When they went to the Stanley Cup final, he was watching it on TV. He became very disturbed with myself, he says, because I saw the slogan on their banners in Rogers Arena that said, "This is what we live for." And it hit him. That's what he was living for. And he was very disturbed with himself. And I got to tell you guys, this word that I read in my devotions on January 1st is for me today. So, the New Year's resolution is to spend time with God and the Word every day. And not set it aside and hit the ground running. Even if it means I got to wake up 20 minutes early. I've got to see Jesus' truth in my life. I've got to get His Spirit in me. Because His Spirit wrote these words. So when I get these words into me, I get His Spirit into me because I'm thinking the way God thinks, right? Otherwise, you become hangry. You know what that is, right? It's the new word. My kids taught it to me. Dad, are you hangry? Hey, actually, I am. Why? Well, I'll tell you a funny story about being hangry and stupid, okay? We were in Prince George, and Sandra said she needed to stop at Fabricland. And it was to get some Fabricland. Fabricland happened to be beside the blood donor clinic, okay? And being the impulsive moron that I am sometimes, I said, I'm just going to go in here and donate some blood while you're next door. And she's like, you're what? I said, I'm just next door donating some blood. She's like, what? So I go in there, this is 10 years ago, and all I had all day was like 2 cups of coffee and one of those little seed squares at Tim Hortons. Right? I just running. And so, health check, no problem. Background check, yeah, we're good to go. All right, donating blood. And all of a sudden I say, why are there black spots everywhere in the blood? And the nurses, I hear them going, and they said, get him some juice. They got me some juice and a donut. And a minute later, I'm like, okay, I'm alive. It's good, right? I'm like, what did you eat today? I'm like, I got a square and 2 cups of coffee, and no water, nothing. You moron, right? Sandra's in there now going like, watching me. And then we can't go anywhere until my blood sugar is stable, and then we can go home. We got home like a half hour late. Or last night we got home from a long day, and I hadn't eaten anything proper, and I was hangry. Because you need good food. You can't live on white bread, right? Kids come home, they grab a piece of white bread and shove it in their mouth. And they get a temporary high, but then they crash, right? Don't be a hangry Christian. Get fuel in you this year, okay? The third thing is the results of feeding on God and His Word are, verse 3, you'll be like a tree, firmly planted and tended by the streams of water, ready to bring forth its fruit in the right time. Its leaf will not fade or wither, and everything you do will prosper, because you've got God energy in you. Now you're affecting others because now you've grown in the Lord and you're bearing fruit of good deeds. And you have the energy and you're seeing with Jesus' eyes. So you see people properly. They're not just cogs in a machine. They're people. You see them properly. You now have a heart for them. And now you don't want to just keep everything for yourself. You want to give to others. You want to give to God. You want to go and spend time serving, volunteering. You think properly, right? Your roots won't be in a cultural moment. We watched a really great movie the other night as a family called McFarland. You seen McFarland? Little town in the States, like Sycamoose, full of nothing but Mexican people, and this coach and his family moved down from Idaho, and it is a powerful movie. That movie is not based in Hollywood's cultural moment right now. It's about truth and service and sacrifice and love and cross-cultural ministry. It's about inspiration, not giving up. That movie is awesome. It's fuel for a Christian soul, that kind of show. It's fuel for the world's soul if they watch it. But they're not watching that. They're watching other movies that are about just stupid fluff. And those are the movies that are going to get the Academy Awards. Because that's the cultural moment Hollywood's in. They'll overlook a movie that should get an Academy Award for Best Picture like McFarland, and it won't make any money. But they'll rave about this one because they're thinking about the cultural moment. And we need to live in something that's not just a moment culture, but truth that stays the same. There's a book out there that is called Eat This and Not That. Have you seen that book? So it says to a guy like me, Bob, when you go sit down and ask you to work on a sermon, don't eat the cinnamon bun, eat the banana. Okay? So it's saying, don't walk over to the deli case and get the cinnamon bun, go to the produce and pick a banana and sit down and eat that and buy a water because you already had 4 cups of coffee. Okay, eat this and not that. When you get the Spirit of God in you, you now are like a tree. You ever see a tree and it's got exposed roots down into a river? And that tree isn't hungry at all. Being in God and time with Him, guys, this year will make you a person that bears fruit and has a good effect on the world around you. You'll get healthier spiritually, just like you would physically if you eat proper food. You won't burn out, it says. You won't walk away from your faith when the going gets tough because you spent enough time with Jesus that He's in there and He's holding you together when everything else is falling apart. Palm trees, one of the reasons they can do this in a hurricane and stand back up is because they've got such huge roots. They go down, and they get strong, and the roots wrap around the roots of other palm trees. So now you've got a system, a community of trees that won't fall down when the going gets tough because the roots are down and they're together. Imagine how strong our church could be if we would all tap into God individually and as a church on Sundays. We'd be like a grove of palm trees. We'd be stronger. We could do a lot more damage to darkness in this town if we tap into that. And it says that if you prosper, by the way, it's no mention of money here. Not talking about you're going to get rich with money. You're going to be better with your money because you're going to think straight, because you'll have God's perspective. But it's not talking about getting wealthy. It's talking about getting wealthy in God. Every area of your life, you could be rich in relationships, richer than you were last year in relationships. Would you like that? Would you like to be less angry than you were a year ago? Would you like to have more self-control? Would you like to be more gentle? You know, I'm asking myself, Bob, do you want to be different a year from now than you are now? Because if you tap into God more, Bob, He'll change your heart and you'll be full of His love. And it's going to make a difference. And it's going to make a difference on the people around you. It says it's going to make you like enviable. What does that mean? Does it mean, oh man, I wish I was going to be like that person because they got the car? No, we're talking about that, right? We're talking about what happened to Rosita Plant. Beautiful pastor's wife, our first boss in Hope. She was going to nursing school in Ontario and needed to stay with a family, boarding family, right? And she saw for the first time in her life a godly man treat his wife and his daughters with respect and love and tenderness. And she became another one of his daughters. And she wanted what that family had because her family didn't have it. And she envied a life where there was a family that actually recharged each other's batteries and didn't condemn each other. A family that loved on each other, and a dad that actually cared and listened to his kids and didn't just, smack his daughters around. She saw something in that family and that man, and it was a man that had been tapped into the grace of God. It changed her life. She got saved. And then she became a world-changing Christian. One of the people I look up to the most in this world was her. She's so full of God's love, that woman. She is amazing. Her and Bill planted like 3 different churches in BC. And he's the same grace-filled guy. I've been blessed to have senior pastors that have been let me be me and make mistakes and forgive me and pick me up and dust me off. And so full of grace, this couple. The fourth thing is there's an alternative to not being happy and fortunate. It's to be like the wicked. And it says here, verse 4, you want to go that way, you can, and be disobedient and live life without God, but you're going to become a wind-blowing chaff. You're going to become dry bones with no substance. You become dust, like the dust you've been chasing the year before. What's that definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, hoping to get new results. Right? You're going to have to do something different in 2016 to be more like Jesus that you didn't do in 2015. And I only want this for you so you will be happy, fortunate, prosperous, and have an enviable life that spreads the love of Jesus around you. That's what I want for you. You guys are missionaries in your world. So this year, get some God fuel. You'll have a less dismal outlook. You'll be more patient, more productive. And I just really want that for us as a church. Because we have some huge opportunities coming up this year. Not just Sycamores. Talking about when we start to do things as a church again in the end of January, reach our community, and when you guys are missionaries over coffee, when you're missionaries at work, whatever your job is, you don't want to be dry bones, dust with no substance. You don't want to be mucking around in the mud. You want to be on the rock, right? And Jesus said, the people that build their life on my word or what I say are living on a rock and won't be moved. Their way will not perish. The ground you stand on will be the peace of God. It's all about Jesus. He gives you Himself. And the thing is, it's worship, right? Because I said everybody's got a religion. If you keep your eyes on Jesus this year and you worship Him at the beginning of your day and at the end of your day, and you get more Him in you, then you will be thinking like Him and change the world around you. He is what we want to be about this year. So, Ryan's going to come up and we're going to sing a song about this great God, Jesus, we worship. with Steve and Aiden. I just ask you to bow your heads and just think about what the Word of God has said to us today. And just talk to Him. Maybe make a resolution between you and Him and ask Him for His strength in the whole thing. Because that's where it's going to happen. Lord, we love you. We thank you that every day is a new day of new year. We love you, Jesus, so we just focus on you because you're the King and there's no one else. In your precious name we pray. Amen.